Hello guys, I want to show how to use Metribook today. Let's start. First of all, you need to have a printer compatible with the MEV. The MEV is the Quebec module for restaurant industry. So you should have the MEV. You should have the printer compatible with the MEV. And in second, you also need a kitchen printer like this. But this kitchen printer is only required for a restaurant that need to have printing at the kitchen. If you don't need to print at kitchen, just forget that part. You need also to have a pin pad for payment like this. Actually, we only support Moneris, so you need to contact Moneris to get a pin pad Moneris, a cloud edition. So they provide the cloud pin pad, so they will give you all the support to get that ready. Second, though, you need to have a wireless routers. I recommend you to have one that has 4 to 5 entry in the back, at least 4 entries, because you need to connect the MEV to the routers. You need to connect the printers. You also need to connect some external device. So if you have, for example, 2 kitchen printers, you need to connect them both on the same. So I prefer to recommend you to buy the better one. This one, for example, is D-Link. D-Link, the version is the DIR 819. That one is almost $29 on Amazon. So it is a D-Link, so you can get that, and it will be enough. It is wireless, support two bands, 2.5, 2.4 gigahertz, and also 5 gigahertz. It is enough powerful to make you get ready. The last thing I will recommend you to get is a power bar. A power bar to connect all your devices. So you need that. You can get 2 like this. At least you need one that have at least 6 entries. So 6 entries and more. So I think if you have that, then you are completely ready. So for the 6 entries, you have the MEV connected to the power bar. You have the pin pad, the Moneris pin pad connected to the power bar. You also have the router connected to the power bar. You also have printers. So for example, in my case, I have 2 printers. So one for the kitchen and another one for the desk. So then you have like this. At least I recommend you to have one that has 6 entries at least, or to make sure that if you want to add more devices, I recommend you to get like 2 like that. So 2 like this will be enough, right? Optionally, something that I really recommend you if you are not in Quebec or you want to have an integrated printer, so you can get this device. This device is available on POSguy.com. So there is ISAP POS. ISAP POS come with an integrated printer and also a stand for your iPad. So you have both at the same time. So we have like an integrated printer and also the desk for your iPad. So you can just put your, let me show you how it works. So you have your iPad, a blank iPad, and you have a support for the best things with the ISAP POS stand is it will allow charging. So it comes with the charger. So the iPad one is connected to the stand. It automatically charges. So you don't need to have an additional cable. So you only have few cables, only one to connect the ISAP POS, only one, and it's enough. And connected to the iPad through Bluetooth, and charging automatically using the power. And I think that's all you need to get ready with the ISAP. Very interesting. So as I said, the stand is optional. You don't need the stand. You can add custom stands for your side. If you already have one stand, it's enough. The only thing is you have to connect the stand to the regular printer. Like for example, in Quebec, you don't need ISAP because you don't need integrated printer. You need the MEV and also need the printer compatible with the MEV. So for Quebec, forget the ISAP stand. It's just for convenience. Okay, let's start. So now we have Metribook. So on Metribook, you need two things. You need to have an account created on Metribook website that I will show you after, and also you need to get from your website portal. You need to bring your master code. You will need the master code to connect to the Metribook POS. So now I enter my information. I have my master code and also my password. So let's start. So on my first screen, what I have options to allow me to start ready. I click on all products. If you click on all products, you will start directly with all products you have in your inventories. You also have a way to set up some basic stuff. For example, you want to set up the printer's IP address, you want to set up Moneris pin pad, or you want to set up ISAP POS Bluetooth stuff. You can do that. Let's for example show for the setup. So on the setup page, what we have, you have the printers, you also have the pin pad. So to set up the printer, for example on Quebec, you only need to set up the IP for the MEF. This is the last one. You don't need to set anything else, unless if you have a kitchen printer. If you have a kitchen printer, you need to set up printer number 1. That's for the kitchen number 1. If you have 2 kitchen printers, you need to set up the bot. You set printer number 2, it is for kitchen. The master printer IP, you don't need that if you are working on Quebec, because Quebec required to have the MEF. So you should have the MEF like this first, and then you need to put the IP address of that MEF. So the better way to get the MEF IP address is to connect to the MEF and then go to the configuration of the MEF, and the MEF will print you the IP address. We will do that shortly. But for now, this is the configuration we have. Let's show how to get the IP address for the MEF. To get the configuration IP address for the MEF, first of all, bring your terminal for the MEF. So now the MEF is opened. So open, start. For my, I don't have the password. So you need to go to configuration like this, and you go to, let's continue following that. You click this, voir config IP, this one, select that, and select printer. So you have something printed, and now you have the printer, the IP address. So if you see on my case, I have the same on the pin pad, on the POS. So you put exactly the same thing. So the same thing, exactly the same. The 192, 168, 168, 100, 2222. So the same thing that you need to put on your POS, only that. So when you have set up your MEF IP address, you can test first to make sure that it is properly set up. So you have the test button just front of the IP address. Just click on the test button. So let's do that. So I print, and I have something printed. So I have my printer printed, default invoice. That invoice is not a real invoice, so it's not risky. So you can do that all the time. You can do that many times. You are not, you will not be charged. The MEF will not record it, the transaction. So it's like free to you. So you can do that all the time. It's not a problem. But the last two things I want to show on this page is the print merchant copy. The merchant copy is a receipt that you get if you serve a customer. You have to give him first a copy for a customer, card holder copy. That one you should do that by law. So you should always give the customer a copy for a customer. And if you want to have a copy for you, for your paper stuff, and you can do that. You can select this option, and you will have 2 copies at the same time, one for customer and one for you. So you have to get that on your personal list. For the rest, for example, the setup ISAP POS stand is for the device. For example, for the printer integrated one, if you want to print on this printer, then you need to set up this. But like I said, you don't need that for Quebec. If you want to work with only the stand, you need to set up and follow instruction, and it will be connected, and you will be able to print on this printer as well. In that case, if you select to use ISAP printer, forget the MEV. The MEV will not work anymore. So all prints will be go directly to the ISAP POS. So that part is left for convenience only. For example, if you want to work in continuous mode with the MEV, for example, you can switch like that. You switch to directly, or to go back to the MEV, you should select to remove the connectivity and put your IP address in this section, only that. So now go back to the setup page. So the setup page, the one that we will show now is the setup the pin pad. The pin pad that I just showed you earlier for the Moneris pin pad. For Canada, you have to use Moneris. For the USA, you have to use Cat Connect. So yeah, maybe if you need more information, you can go to your portal. You have a way to set up Cat Connect for the USA. So that one is automatically. But you need to set up the pin pad number on this device. If you are using 2 or 3 POS, you need to set up for each POS the device for the printers and also the pin pad. So you have to do that for each POS that you are using in your store. So let's go for the set up the print pad. To set up the print pad for the Moneris is very quite simple. The only thing to do is just put the pin pad number, only that, and click save. And the pin pad number should match the same that Moneris give you. So that number you can also find that on the reverse of the pin pad. Let's show you an example. Here is my pin pad, my Moneris 1. So if I go back to the back of the device, you will see the number is there. So you have just below the barcode number, you have the P. Let's show is a little bit not clear. So you have the P1312173. So the number is just on the back. So you have a 1312163. Just put the same number on the POS P1312173. It is the same that we have on the back. You see on the back. But when you receive your pin pad from Moneris will give you the number. So that number is very important. If you forget that, is on the back of your pin pad, right? So click save, and that's all. Now when all are set up, what I recommend you is to close the POS. If you just set up, for example, printer, you set up everything just for the first time, I recommend you to close the POS. Just stop the POS, just double click on the iPad icon and remove the POS done. And then you can open again the pin pad and just restart. And now everything should be safe, and you won't need to set up again unless something change, or if you want to add a new printer or want to change something else. That's all for the setup.